What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for coming back and learning something from me. Today I'm going to be talking about a very highly requested video, and that's on how you can still drink alcohol and lose fat. I'm going to be diving deep into this. There's some basic math similar to my macronutrient breakdown video. I'll link in the cards here, but pay attention, get out your notes. If you want to drink alcohol and lose fat, you definitely can. I'm going to be showing you exactly how you can do that. So before you go out and decide to drink alcohol during your fat loss phase, I want you to have a very rough idea or an exact idea of how many drinks you plan on having and the exact type of drinks you plan on having. By doing this, we can calculate beforehand how many calories are actually in the drinks we plan on drinking. This is super important because yes, alcohol has calories. A lot of people don't seem to think so. Alcohol is that fourth macronutrient no one likes to talk about. Protein, carbs, fats, and alcohol, they all have calories. Alcohol has 7 calories per gram, so we definitely need to take into account the calories coming from alcohol and not just drink as much as we can. So you're probably wondering the big question, can you actually drink alcohol and still lose fat? And the answer is yes, because if we're taking into account the calories that are coming from alcohol in whatever day we plan on drinking, and we know the exact amount of calories we plan on drinking, we take it into account from our food and eat less food, we're still going to be in caloric deficit. It's the same amount of calories. We're just swapping it out from carbs and fats, not protein. I'll talk about that later. Carbs and fats to alcohol. So it's the same thing. We're still going to be in a caloric deficit. Although there is very bad side effects of just drinking alcohol instead of your carbs and fats. Yes, you're still going to lose weight, but it's not going to be filling at all. You will not be filled up by alcohol. Trust me, firsthand experience, like you want to eat everything in sight. Coming back from the bar or a party, you're craving like so many calories and a massive large pizza from Domino's. It's really hard to resist. That's a massive issue you have to be aware of when you plan on going out drinking. You have to know or have planned food after your bar, party, whatever you're drinking. That's what I recommend. Have planned food, like a big meal ready for you that you've taken in consideration with your calories throughout the day, instead of just saying, fuck it, I'm gonna go get a massive large pizza from Domino's and eat over 4,000 extra calories that I wasn't supposed to eat. So make sure you do that. So if it's just a matter of swapping out calories, why can't we just touch protein as well so we don't take so much from carbs and fats? You never want to touch protein. Protein is the most important in terms of holding onto your muscle and building muscle and feeling satiated. Like, you want to keep your protein consistent all the time. Around 1 gram per pound of body weight is what I recommend. We're not going to be touching our protein. Also, if we are drinking, we want to stay full throughout the day because we won't crave freaking pizzas after if we have a protein meal lined up or something like that. If we keep our protein high at what it normally is, it's going to help us keep more full. And we're going to be touching our carbs and fats and decreasing them to replace them with the alcohol calories we plan on drinking. And I'm going to go over a detailed example here, so stay with me. If you need to take notes, please do so. It's not super hard, but you should probably take notes. Okay, so I'm going to run through an example here using what I would usually drink, which is 6 beers that are like 150 calories. You get Coors Light, Molson Canadian. If you get Michelob Ultra, that's pretty low calorie. It's like 90 calorie. So that's what I would recommend. This is what I usually drink or have been drinking throughout university. So I'm going to use it as an example here. Okay, so we have established that alcohol has calories. So if we want to stay in a caloric deficit, we need to account for these calories, not add them on. So we need to deduct calories from our food coming from carbs and fats. Remember, we're not touching protein. Protein stays the same. So we're going to take whatever calories that are coming from alcohol and deduct it from our carb and fat macros. You can do it one of 3 ways. You can just take it from your carbs, which you might feel low energy if you do that. Take it from your fats. I'm going to run through that. I don't recommend it, and I'll tell you why in a bit. Or track it as both, which I recommend. Okay, so going for just tracking carbs, we know that we're having 6 150 calorie beers. Let's call it Coors freaking Light or Molson Canadian, whatever. We're having 6 of those, which is me. That might be a lot for some people, but for me, that's pretty normal. And we're going to track it as carbs. Now, we know that carbs have 4 calories per gram. So if there's 150 calories in 1 beer, divide that by 4. That's going to tell us how many carbs are in 1 beer. And if we're having 6 beers, we're going to do 37.5, which is the amount of carb macros in 1 beer, times 6. and that gives us 225 grams of carbs. That's what we would have to deduct off our day. That is a ton of carbs. If you're having 6 beers, like some people don't even eat that much in a day. Some smaller girls do not even eat 225 grams of carbs a day. Like that's just showing you how much 6 beers like will take up of calories. Is that really worth it to you to have 6 beers? Like I never recommend to actually have 6 beers. I recommend like 3, 4 max. Like try and do your best and stay away from beer, but this is what I would usually have. And looking back, like I did this all the time. That is a lot. Now I'm gonna run through tracking it as fat, which is just like the same, but fats have 9 calories per gram, not 4. Protein and carbs have 4 calories per gram. Fat have 9. So fats are more energy dense. So if you eat more fat, you're eating more calories because there's more calories in 1 gram of fat. So the same thing. We know fats have 9 calories per gram, right? So we do 150, which is because there's 150 calories in 1 beer. Divide that by 9 to get 16.6 grams of fat in 1 beer. Now we do 16.6 times 6 because we're having 6 of these beers, and that's 100 grams of fat. That, like, if you don't know how much 100 grams of fat is, that's a lot. That's like double what I have on my cut, and I'm big. I'm 210 pounds. Like, that's, if you track, this is why I'd never recommend tracking this fat. That is so much fat, that's crazy. And if you don't, you need fat. Like fat is an essential macronutrient. You never want to cut it way too low. I see a lot of people make that mistake. You will feel like absolute shit, and it is very unhealthy. So never actually just track it solely as fat. That's why I recommend the both approach. Now, I want to go over the method I personally use instead of just doing individual carb or fat, because that will take up a ton of whatever macro you choose. If you just do the one, like that's so much. That's a crazy amount. If you do both, so you're gonna split up the calories. You're gonna split up the macros, half and half. So what I did is I took 150 divided by 2, because there's 150 calories in 1 beer. Divide that by 2, that's 75 calories of carbs and 75 calories of fats. So same thing as here for carbs. You do 75 divided by 4, because there's 4 calories in 1 gram of fat. And we got 18.75 grams. Multiply that by 6, because we're having 6 beers. Stay with me here. And we're getting 112.6 grams of carbs. So it's like half. That is half, actually. Yeah, so that's half. And then for fats, you take 75 calories, because 150 divided by 2, 75. Divided by 9, because there's 9 calories in 1 gram of fat. And we got 8.3 grams of fat in 1 beer. So times that by 6, or 8, yeah, times that by 6. And we're gonna, because we have 6 beers, right? So we're gonna get 49.8 grams of fat. So that's like half of this and half of that. So you're just taking half of each, which is so much better. That is a lot more doable. It's still a ton. Like 6 beers is a lot. That's a lot of macros for carbs and fat. Like that's probably what I would have for fats in a day. So that just shows you like alcohol really does take up a lot of calories, and this is why people that if once they go to university, their first year, they put on so much weight, because they do not account for their alcohol. They do not eat less during the day they're drinking, so they just add on this amount to their calories they're already eating, which may even be in a surplus still, and then they just put them overboard. So that's why I recommend, if you want to lose weight, you need to track your alcohol if you want to drink alcohol. So quick summary of those calculations. You need to know the amount of calories of alcohol you're going to be drinking, or have a really rough estimate, and don't go out drinking just random stuff that you don't know. You want to have it sort of prepared in your mind. If you know you're going to take a couple shots or whatever, how many beers you're having at the pre-party, doesn't matter. You need to have a rough idea. So if it's 6 beers or whatever, you know the amount of calories. Okay, and I recommend tracking it as carbs and fats. So break it up half and half, because if you just do one or the other, carbs or fats, it's going to take way too much macros up, and you will be eating almost nothing of that for the day, which can make you feel like crap. If you don't eat enough carbs, you're not going to feel really energized, and you probably have a crap workout if you do. And if you just don't eat fat, you're still going to feel like shit, because fat is very essential and you never just want to cut it out. So I recommend doing both. Just take half and half. So much better. So the bottom line is you need to track your alcohol, and it is totally doable to drink and lose weight. You just have to track the calories. Just be aware, when you drink alcohol, you're not going to feel very full at all, especially with like just beers. They might bloat you for a bit, sure, but it's not really gonna make you full. And I highly recommend having a meal saved for after you drink, because alcohol, you're just gonna get hungry. From personal experience, like, trust me, you're gonna get so hungry after, like, once you get home from the party or whatever. So make sure you save some calories. Maybe try intermittent fasting of the day you plan on drinking, so you can have more food for later on. Well, if you want a little trick to prevent a hangover, listen carefully. This works for me pretty much every time. So what you're gonna do is, once you get home from drinking, you need to chug water. Like, I'm not talking just a couple glasses, like, chug it until you're uncomfortably full. Like, your stomach feels not good because you're drinking so much water. Make sure you're not throwing up or anything, but drink enough water. Just feel really, really full off water, and then take 2 ibuprofens, the green ones, like the medium size, the normal ones. Take 2 of those, and you shouldn't wake up with a headache or any issues at all, trust me. That's gonna be it for this one, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this and know that drinking alcohol, you can still drink it and make progress. That's awesome. A lot of people have been asking me if you can still drink it and whatnot, so I hope I cleared up everything for you. If you still have more questions, for sure comment below. I answer all my comments all the time. I see everything, so I don't have that many subscribers anyway, so let me know in the comments. And also, I'm having sales on my custom diet plans and custom workout plans. I'll link them in the description below, so if you want one of those, hop on it, because some gyms are opening up, so I want to help people and lower the price a bit, because I know people lost their jobs and whatnot. So if you are interested, custom plan by me, insanely detailed, like, I really take my time with these. It's going to be in the description below, so if you want one, get one. And if not, I will definitely see you in the next video.